What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's having a great day. Today I want to talk a bit about dust farming, and I know that a lot of people might not care much about it. I feel like dust is the most impactful resource that we kind of have in the game, because you get an opportunity to ascend your gear, get better stats on your champions. It just takes your builds really over the top. So I kind of wanted to look at dust farming because I was having a conversation with somebody recently, and we were trying to see, like, does it make a difference if I farm with super raids on or off? Like, are the drops going to be drastically different? Are you going to get more dust in some cases, less dust in some cases? I don't think super raids affects dust at all, but as far as like your drops with the various oils, how is this going to be impacted? So I took it upon myself during this fine PRCVC that we've just had to do 1,000 runs in Sand Devil. I also did like 500 or so runs in Shogun, but I didn't really look at the data in any way, because I don't farm much Shogun. I need to farm more of it, but farming Sand Devil is like largely more important, well, in my personal opinion. So first, let's actually just take a look at what we got when we ran super raids. I did super raids first. So as you can see, we have 250 runs using super raids, which would be the equivalent of 500 regular runs, and we got 76 dust. I was trying to get a ton of dust. I was watching Kursan recently, and he always has a ton of dust on Doc Moreau's account. There was like a 1,000 dust, over 900 dust one time I was watching Build a Champ, and I was like, nah, I need my dust reserve to look like that so that I could comfortably go in and gear champions exactly how I want, when I want. Because if you're like me, you probably farm it a good bit, right? You farm it a good bit, but then you get like some pieces you're really trying to rework. I had a piece that has a insane amount of reworks on it as far as Ascension. I don't think it's this one. It can't be. Yeah, it's not this one. This one only has one rework attempt. I was reworking a piece recently, and it was absolutely atrocious. I think I got up to like in between 9 or 13, some wild amount of reworks before I just said, yeah, I'm just not going to do this piece anymore. And I can't even find the piece right now. I'm sure it'll come across, at some point, because I'm going to be looking to use that piece, or it's already on someone and their build will need improving. But dust, we got 76 dust from our initial, 250 or 500 runs. We got ancients, and obviously we got a decent amount of oils out of it too. And just to go back to the conversation that I was having, with my homie, and he was, we were talking about dust farming, right? Because you got to do a certain amount for the missions and whatnot. So we're always talking about different things, and we wanted to see, will we get more dust or less dust? You have more opportunities for dust if you farm it, I guess, that way. I don't know. We're here to learn, right? And I don't know everything. So maybe you guys can let me know what you know down below as well. That would be greatly appreciative, because I'm trying to learn in this myself. But let's take a look at what we actually got when we ran, just 500 runs flat out. Well, this is actually 502 runs, because I don't know why RSL Helper didn't stop at the 500. I thought I put the amount of energy for, exactly 500 runs, but it went to 502. And we actually end up with less dust in this situation. Not by much. It's about on par where it needs to be. According to SAF, the drop rate is like 8%. We actually get less of the superior oil, and not by much, because 74, that's not like a huge amount less. The middle oils, what are those even called? I don't even know what the middle ones are even called. Greater oil, so it's greater. So we have lesser, greater, and obviously superior. We get a little more of the greater oils, and this is probably all just RNG. I don't even look at the lesser oils. Honestly, I don't know that the rate for lesser oils on 25 should be as high as it is. I think Drock actually did a video on that, like the disparity between the drop rates for oils, especially on Shogun, because we just get like significantly more of the lesser oil, and there's definitely a disparity in how these things drop in it. I think that they should look at it, but this is what we end up with in 1,000 runs, right? 1,002 runs, actually, to be specific. We end up with 147 dust, and obviously the oils and the ancient shards. Almost said sacred. I wish these were sacreds, but they're not. Yeah, so 147 dust for 1,000 runs. Absolutely sucks. I'm not gonna lie. It absolutely sucks. Like, I feel like it should definitely be more. I know how impactful dust is. Absolutely atrocious as far as the drop rate. So if you ever had the question of should you be farming with super raids or not, I'm here to tell you that it's not really gonna make a difference. It's not gonna make a difference at all. There isn't a wide, margin here of difference, right? This difference of 5 dust here, that's, RNG 2 times. And at a certain point when I was looking at these runs, right, especially the individual runs without super raids, I was thinking to myself, like, do they have a cap on how much dust you can actually get per run? It kind of seemed like there was a cap. And I mean, I guess I'll show a bit more of the screenshots that I have, because I have a ton from, when I was running it without super raids. So this is where I initially started taking screenshots of the runs, because I was working at the time as well. But 257 runs in, we got 40 dust. We're about, just over the halfway mark. So I'm anticipating, I should probably top out around the higher end of 70 dust, right? Not the lower end, which is actually what we ended up with, right? After the 502, we ended up with 71. So it could be worse. I could have ended up with significantly less dust. So I guess I'll take what I can get for now. But next screenshot was at 292. So we're just under 40 runs later. 40 runs, we get 2 dust out of it. So I'm like, okay, 2 dust and 40 runs. That probably means dust only dropped 1 time. Or it dropped a 1 and 1, which would be ridiculous, but you can get 1 through 3 on 25. So maybe we got dust once and then another 1 time, or maybe we got 2 and then we didn't get any more dust for that entirety of 35. So close to 40, right? So only 2 in that time, which, yeah, it's kind of crazy. But next screenshot, because at that point I was trying to get it, whenever we got a little bit of dust. That way I could kind of see the range of, how much dust I'm getting at one point. We come back here, we're 14 runs later, we get 2 more dust. That could be 1 dropping, or, 1 and 1, or a drop of 2. We come back 5 runs later, I have 4 dust. So now the dust is dropping. So this period we get here at 292, between 292 and 311, we actually get, 8 dust from what we were at initially once we got to 292. So I believe I screenshotted it once I got the actual dust, and then from there, so 8 dust, 6 dust, however you want to look at it. So dust is actually dropping during this point. This is why I was like, okay, is there a cap within a certain amount of runs, or a certain amount of energy, or a certain amount of battles? Like, how is this working? It was just all very funny to me, because there were large periods where I wasn't getting any dust, and then you have these flurry of dust that just keeps coming, and then it just stops, and then you get a long period of like not getting dust, and then it comes back again. So from 311 to 336, that is what, another 25 runs in, we get 3 dust at some point in between that time. It could be 1, 1, 1, could be 3 at one time, it could be a 2 and a 1. I didn't look at each run of the 500. I would be crazy to do that, right? No, I would be crazy to do that. Then 349, so we are 13 runs later, we get 1 more dust in that time. So right here is a period of just under 100 total runs, right? From when I started to track it, we get essentially 12 dust. We have 12 dust, right, in this period of 100 runs. So you could, I guess, say within 100 runs, you should get 12 or so dust. Let's move on to the next screenshot. Let's see if I can move some of these. because at this point we're at 349, and here is where my next screenshot was at 400. So about 51 runs later, we get 6 dusts in that 51 runs. So like I said, within 100 runs, you're gonna pretty much cap out at 12 dust or so, right? I feel like any more than that, and you're lucky, right? In between 12 and 15 would be, you know, I would say great. And obviously our last screenshot that we had, which I showed at the beginning, was at the end where we end up with 71. So a flat 102 runs after. I want to say flat 100 so bad, but it's 102 runs after that. We end up with, what's that, 12, 13 more dust, right? We get 13 dust between 400 and 502. There is definitely drop rates on par with drop rates in the game in general. The drop rates are terrible, but if you want to know how much you can expect from your runs, if you're doing, you know, 100 runs, expect to get, you know, 12 dust or so, 10, 12 dust or so. Yeah, I guess that's just what it looks like, but this is what we ended up with. Also, I ran this 100%. We didn't fail any runs. If you want to know the team that I used, I did a video on the team. Actually, this is the team here. There is an entire video about it on my channel already. I will make sure that I link it up there for you guys so that you can click on it, the card, and see it. But this is what we end up with. So now, like, I guess if you know you don't run dust often or you aren't farming Sand Devil often, you kind of get an idea of how much dust you're gonna get. Or if you are trying to farm some dust for a specific piece, you have an idea of how much you actually need to farm in order to ascend that piece to where you needed to go, though. But I kind of want to open the conversation up to you guys. These are just my thoughts, guys. I don't know everything there is to know about farming dust. This is just what I found, and I'm going to continue to theory craft with people when they ask me questions. So hopefully, you know, with the addition of the new boss, we get another way to, I don't know, get some dust as well. We've been getting dust from the new live arena chests. Obviously there's dust in Curse City as well, so maybe dust will also be incorporated in the new boss in some way. I'm kind of hoping that the new boss also drops remnant shards. You know, we get remnants from Curse City, so if we could get remnants from the new clan boss, that would be great as well. But let me know your thoughts below, guys. I would greatly appreciate it. Would love to continue this conversation. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a ton. Thank you guys for helping me to get to 8K, by the way. Be sure to like the video as well and leave me your thoughts down below. But until next time, guys, be good and be well.